Welcome back. I am Chef Patrick Alexander, and I want to welcome you to Chef Patrick's Classic Kitchen. Today we're going to be doing a salmon croquette, a little different. We're going to use fresh salmon. We're not going to use the traditional pink canned salmon. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off by seasoning our salmon. And what you want to do is you want to just give it a light season. Oops. And then you flip it over and do the same thing on the reverse side. And I'm using a salt and pepper blend that I created myself. So I get the evenly spread of salt and pepper all over it instead of it just being a glop here and a glop there. All right. And then so once we get this seasoned, we're going to move into this, but we're going to move to the stove top in just a second. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're back on task again, starting off with our salmon croquette. So first thing we're going to do, now we already seasoned our salmon, so we brought it over here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our sauteing our vegetables and getting a good flavor. We're going to put about maybe about 2 ounces worth of oil to coat the bottom of the pan. Get it nice and hot. And then we'll add some onions. And then we'll add some red bell peppers. Just a little bit more. All right. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic, about a clove of garlic. Now we're going to saute this, and we're going to also add a little salt and pepper here to it. You know, again, we're going back to building flavors. You want to make sure that every part of your dish is seasoned so that you have good flavor imparted into your food. So we're going to saute this off. So salmon croquette, I used to, when I was a kid, my grandmother used to make salmon croquette for breakfast on Sunday mornings, or either that or fish. It was always some type of fish and grits or salmon and grits. So didn't like it at all. I hated it. But I ate it anyway because it was that if you don't eat, you just don't eat. So I had to make sure I ate. So as I got older, I still just didn't like that little salmon out of the can, that little pink salmon. It has those little gristles in it that, you know what I'm talking about. I don't like that. That was a weird texture to me. So I decided, once I became a chef, hey, let's do salmon croquettes, but let's use fresh salmon. So that's what we're doing here today. And I'm guarantee you, if you have not done this, if you have not tried this, this will be something that you will really, really, really love. Okay. So now we got those that vegetables right there kind of sauteed and translucent a little bit. So we're going to set it to the side. And we're going to bring pan back over, and then we're going to switch over to sauteing the salmon. And so again, salmon has its own fat, so you don't have to use a lot of oil, just enough so that you can coat the bottom of the pan. So while this heats up, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're back on task again. So we're gonna go ahead and saute off our salmon. Like so, previously before the break, we had sauteed off our onions, and onions and peppers, and now we got our pan nice and hot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our salmon in and get it sauteed. There we go. And you really don't want to crowd the pan, so we'll probably do that one later. And so what you want to do is, get a light sear on this on both sides. And what we're going to do, we're going to sear it. I'm a fan of finishing things off in the oven because we don't want them to get, dried out. We don't want them to be dried out. But you can dry it out in the oven if you leave it too long. So you have to watch it and put it on a certain time. So let that saute right there. And so the way that we're gonna do this salmon croquet, and we're gonna do it, or croquette, however you like to call it, we're going to do it on almost like a crab cake style. So it's gonna have some of the flavors and things of crab cakes. And that's because I love crab cakes, but then I was like, why can't salmon taste like that? And it tastes good, but just not the same, because of course salmon has a different flavor profile than crab. So I want that to brown up a little bit more. I'm gonna let that stay on the other side. So what we're gonna do, once we seal this off, like I said, we're gonna transfer it to the oven. And so the reason why we do it this way is because I looked at the fact that when you take salmon out of the can, it's already prepared, it's already cooked. So that's why I cook this first, instead of someone asks, why don't you just mix it all in? I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. You want to have that salmon cooked already, because when you start to make those patties, it's going to be really, really quick. So you don't have time to cook it all the way through, because it'll burn really quickly. All right, so that looks pretty good, and we're gonna move that to the oven. And when we come back, I'll show you how we're gonna put this thing together. Yeah, okay, hello, we're back. So now we're gonna show you how to put this salmon croquet together. We have all our nice ingredients. Salmon's come out looking beautiful, as it normally does. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in. Now the salmon's hot, so we're just gonna go and see it's done. It's just breaking all off. We're just gonna put it right in there, like so. All right, there we go. And so remember those wonderful vegetables that we sauteed off in the beginning? We're just gonna take those and we're gonna dump those right in, like so. All right. So now, like I told you, I wanted to elevate it and bring it up to a different level. And so that crab cake level. So this is gonna be really good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little Worcestershire sauce. Okay, we're gonna add some Old Bay. We're gonna add some marjoram. Whoop. Yep, that's good. Then we're gonna add our breadcrumb. And I'm gonna put a little bit more breadcrumb in there. And this is panko breadcrumb. And I like how panko breadcrumbs work with the salmon croquette. They still kind of make them a little light. They're not really tight and condensed. So now we're gonna add some mayo. And you can always adjust your mayo or either your other seasonings if you like. And we're gonna put a little Dijon mustard in there for a little heightened profile flavor. And then I'm gonna take some fresh lemon juice, squeeze me a fresh, about a half a lemon, and we're just gonna squeeze some juice off in there. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, it's not too hot right now. So we're just gonna smush it up all together. And what you're trying to see, like I said, sometimes it's not quite what you want, so you can add a little bit more mayo to get that consistency that you're looking for. You don't want it to be dry, you want it to have some moisture, so that's why we use that mayo. It gives it some moisture. I don't want to do eggs because eggs gonna make it too tight. It's gonna bind it together too well. So I have enough breadcrumbs that will work. So now what we need to do is taste. Oh, yep, we didn't do salt and pepper. We have to do a little bit more of that, not much, just a little bit. All right, so now we need to taste this mixture and see what it tastes like. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good. That's good. All right, so now we're going to get our eye going again, and we're going to start off. We're not going to use oil, we're going to use butter. And I always do unsalted butter. I never use salted butter in any of my cooking because you want to add your own salt. You don't want other salts that you can't control in your food. And if you are doing that, you have to keep in mind what you're using. If you're using chicken broth or chicken stock that's pre-bought and pre-made, because it has sodium in it, so you have to watch it. You can buy it unsalted or low sodium. So, but when you do that, you have to measure how much salt you're putting in your regular dish. So, with like I said, we're using unsalted butter, so there's no salt in this, so we're good. So now, what you have to do is just formulate your patty. I make them really big. I like them really, really, really big. And then once the pan is hot, we put them in. Look at that. And you know, you can make them, like I said, you can make them as big as you want, small as you want. It's up to you. If you're doing something, if you want to use them as an appetizer or maybe like an hors d'oeuvre, you can make them smaller. You can make them much smaller, and in that way you can have a lot so that everyone can partake. Or if you want it as a meal, you can do it this way. So all right, so we're going to do 4 patties. All right, and we're going to let those cook off. So now we have enough seasoning. We have everything that we need to hold it together so that it doesn't fall apart. And what you want to do now with the butter that's in there, you got to watch your heat. You just want it to brown a little bit, and then we'll flip it over. So when we come back, we'll show you how to flip it. All right, so now we're back. Now we're going to flip these salmon for you. These beautiful patties. Oop. Look at that, look at that. That's beautiful, that's beautiful. That's how we want it to look like. You don't want to overcook them. You want them to brown really nicely. That one had some issues. So we're gonna come back with that one. All right. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna look like with our salmon croquettes, our salmon patties. So we're gonna let that actually brown a little bit, and then we're gonna move it over and we're gonna plate it. Now you can, now I like to have it a little moist, so I don't necessarily have to have a sauce with it, but if you want a sauce or some type of spread, I'm gonna tell you what you can do. It's the same one that I used before. You can take some mayonnaise and your Dijon mustard and some honey or some brown sugar, or even if you want to cut back on some of that, you can do agave nectar, and you can mix that around and make you a little sauce just for it to drizzle over. All right, so now that I think that's gonna get it, so we're gonna turn this heat off, and we're gonna move over and we're gonna plate it up. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. So, to Chef Patrick's Classic Kitchen, and what we're working on today is a salmon croquette. And so now we've cooked off the salmon, we've created the patty, and now we're about to plate it. So what we did, I have some kale here, sauteed kale with a little garlic, salt and pepper, and a little chicken broth. We're gonna use that. Then I also made a cauliflower rice. And so it's like a pilaf. I got some rosemary, some thyme in here, and we use chicken broth as well. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our cauliflower rice right in the center. All right, and then we're gonna top it off with a little kale to keep us healthy. You know, we have some healthy options here, and this is a healthy option dish. So if you're trying to find something that will keep you in the healthy realm, this would be a good addition to your menu. And here we have a little salmon croquette. And again, like I always tell you, make sure your plate is rimmed, looking good, no fingerprints, no added food. So here we are. This is the salmon patty Croquette, and we hooked this up. Thank you for joining me, Chef Patrick Alexander, in Chef Patrick's Classic Kitchen. Have a great one.